Game started.
Okay, yeah, we got a game against CRD, and played D4. Let's see. I don't know if I've played a Slav in a while. Let's try that. Maybe we'll get someone to fall into the win-hour gambit again. Not that it's deadly. If you know what you're doing, you can do fine as white against the win-hour. D4, D5. He's taking his time to think about that one. Okay. Knight F3. So that declines to go into any of those lines. In fact, Knight F3 is not a bad move because it stops me from playing E5 here. And he can develop his bishop to F4, that would be the London system, or G5, that would be the Tory system, or he can play E3, and that's the call system. Okay, instead he developed his other knight. I think that's okay too. I'm just going to go for a fianchetto with a dark squared bishop here, and try and undermine the d-pawn here with move c5 later. So bishop to bishop g7 and c5 is the idea. Yeah, okay, so now we're in a London system because he's played bishop to f4. Although he maybe is not, maybe he has the idea of just exchanging this off on h6, yeah. So that's not a typical London system idea. Not at all. So if I play c5 immediately, he takes. Do I get the pawn back? I think so. I can play like knight to a6 to attack it, and I can bring the queen out to attack it. So knight a6 also stops the move b4 to defend c5. So knight a6, and he hasn't moved his e-pawn, so the bishop can't snap off the knight there. So I think I will gather up this pawn. Queen a5 is also a move. I'm losing this pawn though, aren't I, if I do that? Yeah, so I need to hold on to this pawn. It keeps his knight out. If he gets a lot of pressure on my knight on f6, that could be unfortunate. Yeah, so now he's threatening to play b4 and just hold on to this pawn. Oh well, those are the chances you take. Let's see, let's unpin the knight. I can't really stop b4, so I'm not going to go to odd contortions to try to prevent it. But I may want to blockade. Let's see, where is the knight going? How is this knight getting into the game? He probably wants to go to c3, c6. Let's see. Well, let's go this way. I'm trying to make sense of my previous play. So I'm thinking of the move a5. If he takes, I can take back with the rook. If he doesn't, if he advances, I can take with the knight. And that'll leave the c-pawn isolated. So that's a common kind of tactic you see in the Queen's Gambit accepted. Or he could do nothing. I guess he could just sit there. Although if he does nothing, I take. He has to take back with the queen. Might be a bit strange to have the queen on that b5 square. I could hit it with knight a6 again. In any case, it'll be isolating his pawns because his rook is unprotected in the corner at the moment. He could do a move, a knight move would protect the rook. Okay, well, he's just ignoring all of that. Oh, but he's attacking my queen, so I have to be a little bit cautious here. I want to stay on this diagonal here. So that I can still play knight takes. Okay, so he moved the rook. That's his answer. So pawn takes. If he takes with the rook, he'll have immediate pressure on my b pawn, but I can grab his a pawn. I don't know if that's so great, actually. That may be a problem. Let's put the knight here, attack his queen, and see if he trades it off. Now this pawn is pinned once again, so he can't take on a5. But he can attack my queen with his bishop, huh? Okay, let's go to this square, a4. I'm threatening the a3 pawn and the c2 pawn, and that defends both of them. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Okay. So the knight, I could come in with the knight. It looks somewhat suspicious the way he's played. But the queen is blockading the d-pawn, so I can't get my bishop to attack his rook there. Knight. And the knight can't easily either. But the knight can go to e4. And that looks like a good square for it. And where is his knight going? Here, 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 and here, all covered. So maybe I should play f6. But there's a danger in f6. Kicking his knight.
Announcement.
But my knight is then somewhat, almost trapped. Well, I had an idea. Let's see, if I play knight g5 and he kicks it again with a pawn, where is it going? Here, 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 here. It's trapped. Yeah, so I can't play that. The idea was knight here would fork the king and queen. I just need to get rid of this knight. Find a way to get my knight over there, but I don't see it. Don't see it happening. Okay, pawn takes. Let's go ahead and open this up a bit. Just don't have the squares here. If he takes my knight, I take with the pawn and the queen. Okay, he's attacking here. Oh, I can't go there. I want to go here and attack his knight. Not a legal move. The queen doesn't move that way. Let's see. Here. Queen takes pawn, and the a pawn is hanging. It's also knight takes pawn. But he has queen takes queen, rook takes queen, and then he moves the rook. Yeah, I want to keep the queens on, I think. Rather than trading, let's see. He can force an exchange by playing knight to, well, exchange of knight for bishop anyway, but he didn't play that. Okay, now I'm hitting the knight. That was the square I wanted to go to. So what's the count? He's got an extra pawn, but his two pawns on the queen side are isolated and weak, so it's not a huge advantage. Sometimes this is what you see in the Queen's Gambit Accepted too, and those lines where black tries to grab a pawn and hold on to it. He ends up with a messed up pawn structure. So we've got the same kind of thing going on, but with colors reversed. Okay, so If I play knight to c5, he can play rook to c3, pinning the knight. Not so great. Then knight takes bishop, rook takes queen, knight takes queen. And pawn takes knight. And that hasn't really helped at all. Oh, but he didn't defend his knight. Of course, I threatened his knight and he didn't defend it. You got to take advantage of those moments. I knew something. I didn't know. I knew I'd attacked something, but I had forgotten. Okay, so now I'm a piece up for a pawn. So if he wants to trade queens now, that's okay. That is quite all right. Blocks in my bishop. Maybe I could have played better there. Let's maneuver the knight around to a better square. It wasn't seemingly accomplishing a whole lot there. On this square, I can pile up on the a pawn. And if he trades are good for me. I'm just a piece up. He could win a pawn here, and it's not easy to defend, and I don't want to sort of waste time defending it. Let's push here. The idea with that is I want to play rook to e8, d8, rook d8, attacking his d-pawn. And I don't want him to have the move c3 to defend it. Actually, it's kind of futile to attack this pawn while it's on that square, isn't it? Let's attack the c-pawn instead. Now I can attack that pawn. I mean, it's on a when it's on a light square. If he takes, I take the rook. When it's on a light square, I can attack it, and if it's on a dark square, our forces are evenly matched, so I can't win it. He can play rook here. I didn't do that. A rook to b3 attacking the bishop, and I can't... oh, I could take the pawn with the bishop then. I guess that would still be okay. He can deliver a check. He's not doing that. I was just wondering about the checkmating possibilities of bishop here and rook here. Checkmate. But he's going to chase me off of that. Okay, so let's go back to a square where the bishop is defended. Your bishop can be chased all around unless it's got a nice place to anchor itself. Like in my case, e6 is a good anchor point. He can try and undermine it with f4. Okay. But I can force an exchange this way. Okay, now it's a piece for a pawn. Okay. Eventually, black will, or white will run out of moves. At least that's the theory. What am I doing here? He's kind of he's kind of stopped me from moving here. Okay, now he has no way to defend this pawn. And he can win a pawn over here in the corner. He can win the h-pawn. But as he runs over there to win the h-pawn, I will gobble up the f-pawn. And all I need is one pawn to win, and I've got it now. Where's the best square for the bishop? Yeah, let's put it on a diagonal where it has lots of options. Okay, so my idea is that the king comes to g7. Then I will just move my king aside. Eventually his king runs out of moves and has to go away from the defense of his pawn right here. I just have more squares from which I can attack that pawn. And now this is a win, finally. Well, it was a win all along, but now it's easy. I just march up and get a queen. Okay,
challenge.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. I will upload this and do a postmortem as usual. See you guys later. Bye.